Hi guys. Oh, that sun is bright. Welcome to virtual yoga brought to you by the Cedar Grove Library. This is class number 56. Took a little break last week. Wasn't feeling so great. Not COVID, just allergies. Not COVID, I swear. But this is class number 56, and I am happy to be with you. I need a little yoga today. I hope you do too. I have a good plan that I think will be helpful to everyone who's working on a at-home practice and isn't really sure where to start. My dog is going to cry because she's sad that she's in her crate right now, but she has to be in her crate or she will eat my yoga mat. So don't feel bad. She gets 1,000 hours a day to run around and be a dog, but right now she's where she needs to be. So unroll your mat, get comfy, arms at your side, palms up, grab a little blanket or towel to sit up on for sure because we're going to definitely need that. And that's it. Start to take some nice deep breaths. Good to be with you. Amazing weather today, right? Literally almost 75 and the warmest breeze and just so nice. Obviously, my family will be at the beach tomorrow because my kids want to go bodyboarding. And I don't care if they want to go in the water and the water's 58 degrees, that's on them. But I will happily sit on that beach and read a book. So hopefully my best friend will be there too. So get comfy, get on your back. Let's get started. Find your breath. So I can't see you to see your response to this question, but last week I did not post a class. So I'm wondering how many of you did yoga anyway. From those of you that I know are doing these classes, I can kind of guess in my head who I think might have done some yoga on your own, or maybe went back and revisited an older class. But I always like to ask that when we come back from a little bit of an extended break in my live classes, just because it helps, not because I'm judging you, I swear, but because it helps me to gauge where you'll be today. And so, can't do that right now because we're virtual, but if you did not do any yoga on your own in the last week, you might find that you're a tiny bit tighter and stiffer today, and that definitely will affect how you move and how your poses feel. So, food for thought, right? I have been walking every morning and jogging a little bit. If I do 5 miles, I usually jog maybe 2 of those. It's an ugly jog. Don't be impressed with that. It's an ugly jog, but it's a different kind of sweat, and it feels different in my legs, and that's what I like about it. But I've also been participating in the American Cancer Society challenge for November. Every month they issue a challenge for every day of the month, and you raise money and it goes to the American Cancer Society. So I just posted something on Facebook like 2 weeks ago, and I instantly raised $300 thanks to a bunch of my friends here in town. And the challenge is to do 50 squats a day every day for the month of November. So by the end of November, you've done 1,500 squats. And every day, you're supposed to dedicate your squatting to somebody that you know who is fighting cancer or is a survivor or unfortunately has lost their fight to cancer. And when I first started doing it or thinking about it, I kept on thinking, how am I going to come up with 30 people or 28 people or however many days there are in November this year? And it's horrific how easy it is to come up with somebody for every single day. It's horrific. So I think because I've been doing Tabata since March, my squatting's not really, I don't think it looks good, but it's not really making me super sore or anything. But definitely my hip flexors have been a little bit tighter. So the yoga I've been practicing has been focusing on that as well as the back of my hip. I'm lucky in that when something is tight on me, I kind of know, because I practice and I teach and I've been doing it for a long time, I kind of know what my go-to poses are to help relieve that area. And I think that's what I miss the most about being in person with a lot of you. We can't have that conversation, right? There's no conversation. So luckily, yesterday when I was coming back from my walk, I saw one of you. I saw Miss Joan Hausman, and Joan told me that she's been very tight in those areas. So I had already put together a class in my head, And luckily, I think it's going to be exactly what Joan was asking for. Today we are going to focus on downward dog. Easy, not so easy, you know, different people have different opinions about it. It can hurt your wrist, it can really bother you if you're newer to yoga. I love dog, I love that full body stretch. But what we're going to do is focus on dog. We're going to focus on getting our dog to be anatomically correctish, if there's a correct in yoga. And then we're just going to play a little bit with the different poses that you can easily move into from, excuse me, hiccups from my drink. Different poses you can move into from dog. So dog into plank, dog into cobra, dog into a standing forward bend at the front of your mat, dog into a standing forward bend at the back of your mat, dog into inchworm. It's just going to be a lot of in and out movement, and I think it'll feel really good on your spine. I think it'll feel really good on the backs of your legs, your hamstrings, as well as the backs of your hips, and it will certainly help to loosen up those hip flexors and hip joints. So if you don't like dog, don't get discouraged. Don't turn off the video right now. Don't shut off YouTube now. Just give it a try and see what you think. And keep in mind that, like I said, if you're newer to yoga, dog is not super comfortable. It's definitely something you have to grow into and kind of finesse a little and figure out how to make it feel good in your body. So, eyes are closed, arms are out, palms are up, and you're just going to find your breath in and out through your nose or through your mouth, whatever's more comfortable. I know it's allergy season, so I've been a little bit stuffy, and perhaps you have too. Humidifier every single night. Essential oils are going all the time. Eucalyptus or spearmint, which is really nice. But whatever helps. But just know that when you're doing dog and you're a little bit congested, sometimes the congestion gets a little bit worse, and then it'll go away as soon as you're done processing. If I let her out, though, she'll eat my mat, and she'll literally sit right here. So as soon as I'm done, I promise I'll let her out, but I can't do it right now. And the boys aren't home, so. It's all right, girlfriend. It's okay. So just find your breath. A lot of chaos this week. I think regardless of what side of the coin you're on politically, this week was a lot. Right? It was a lot. It was a lot mentally. It was a lot emotionally. It was a lot. So just let your body settle here and focus on your breath. And also take note of how you're feeling. Take note of physically how you're feeling. Where are you carrying your stress right now from life, from just this crazy life that we're living in? I know that I tend to get tight in my hips and my pelvic area when I'm stressed out, but then sometimes I also feel super tight in my shoulders, and I might even get like a tiny little bit of a headache. So figure out where you're at right now, so that as we move through our practice today, you can do little things to try to alleviate your personal stress, your physical stress at least. Okay, I'm going to let her out, but when she goes nuts, I'm going to have to put her back in, okay? So just bear with me. This is one of the non-benefits of teaching virtual yoga from your living room. Callie, I'm going to let you out, but you have to behave. You can't be a jerk, okay? Don't be a jerk. It seems calm, right? But the minute someone comes on the front porch, like to drop off Amazon, or someone walks by, she's going to lose her mind and go nuts. So, I'm warning you. Alright, pull your knees into your chest, drop your legs over to your right, take a twist, focus on the back of the left arm, keep it anchored, keep it flat. We also have a plumber here in the basement working on the furnace, and she can hear them through the floor, and it's making her a little extra nutty. So I promised Cam after I got back from walking this morning that I would go through Starbucks to get a drink, and I would get him a breakfast sandwich. So breakfast sandwiches at Starbucks are a little too artisanal for Cam, not really up his alley. So all the way to the Wayne Starbucks, the drive-thru, he was bargaining for Chick-fil-A breakfast. So I said, okay. We parked our car in the Chick-fil-A parking lot. We started to order, and then we realized it was 10:47, and Chick-fil-A cuts off breakfast at 10:30. So he ended up getting his favorite Chick-fil-A original chicken sandwich with some fruit and a drink. And then it was time to drive through. And then it was time to drive through the Starbucks drive-through, which is all I wanted. From like the second mile of my walk, I was craving my iced tea lemonade, craving it. And we pulled up, and they were flat out closed. Dark, cones up in the driveway. The board to order was completely shut off in black. So we had to make a giant loop, go like 45 minutes through construction out of our way to go to the Montclair Starbucks. And here we are, because hashtag priorities. Bring your knees up to center. Come on into a happy baby. Either hold the outside of each foot or the big toe. Go wide with your feet, wide with your knees. Pull everything down so it's sort of like you want your knees to go into your underarm area. And then find movement. Find that rocking back and forth movement. She's a good girl. She's a puppy. And she's really fun. I thought the puppiness would settle when we hit her 1-year birthday, but now I'm being told it's more like 3 or 4, which is amazing because she's terrible to walk. She's atrocious. See, I can hear a dog barking outside, and any minute now, all hell's going to break loose. All right, pull the knees in, drop the knees over to the left. Oh, hi, I know. Drop your knees over to the left, focus on the back of your right arm. You want it out, you want the shoulders snuggle down into the ground, and you want the legs to settle towards the left. So the reason I love downward facing dog is because it's compact. You can do it anywhere. You can do it outside. You can do it in the shower. There's a wall dog. See, I was thinking about all the different versions of dog I wanted to show you, and there are some I just can't show you because we're not together, and wall dog is one of those. But in general, downward facing dog is that pose that you can do in a second, anywhere. Maybe not in the middle of a grocery store, especially not now with all the arrows on the floor. But you know, you're out taking a walk, you're out taking a run, you stop on a little side street, you can sit in a quick dog on the sidewalk. Downward facing dog opens up the back of your shoulders, it opens up your chest, your heart center, lengthens your spine from the base of your neck up through your tailbone, and then it goes straight over the hips and down through the back of the hips where the piriformis muscle is that can cause sciatica, down through the hamstrings in the back of your thighs, down into the ligaments that can get really tight in the back of your knees, down through the calves, down into the Achilles, and then if you figure out how to play with your feet just right, you can even lengthen out the arches of your feet. So downward facing dog, in my opinion, is the perfect pose for when your whole body just needs some TLC and you can't go get a massage. Perfect. Pacing like a crazy person, crazy dog. So bring the knees up to center. Come on into happy baby, or a wide knee, one hand on each knee, just letting the weight of your arms pull you wide. I had a pretty exciting week. I went to DMV 2 days in a row. Both of our cars expired last April. Our inspection, registration, everything's fine, but inspection. And I think they gave everyone who expired in the spring through December 31st. But I just was sick of looking at the expired sticker in my windshield. And so my best friend went to Secaucus a couple weeks ago, and she only waited like an hour and a half, which gave me hope. And so I took my car and went there. And then I called my husband and said, just trade cars with me tomorrow and I'll take your car too, because it literally took an hour and a half. And I was on the phone, I was reading my book, I was alone, and my kids were home. So the alone was very key in the fact that it wasn't the worst experience of my life, because I have rarely been alone since last March 14th, which is the first day after school got out when we started quarantine. 239 days ago. Yep. So it wasn't terrible. So I didn't mind doing that. So if you need to get your car inspected, go to Sea Caucus, plan for like an hour, hour and a half, bring a drink, bring a snack, bring a book, and enjoy the silence. Not bad. But here's the super exciting part. If you're still in Happy Baby, bring your feet down to the mat, keep your knees bent, bring the soles of your feet together, and let your knees drop out to the side. Keep your arms out in the big T. The exciting part of my vehicle inspection trips to motor vehicles was that for 8 months, every time I've attempted to go into the Clifton Trader Joe's, there has been a line around the building. But when I came home from inspection the other day and I was on Route 3, I just thought, what the heck? I'll take a glance. I don't have high expectations. Took a glance over and there was no line. So I whipped my newly inspected car into the parking lot and ran into Trader Joe's for 2 seconds and grabbed half the store because I only wanted to be in there for like 2 seconds because stores kind of creep me out right now. But it was really nice to be in there, and they have some of their fun holiday stuff. So that made my whole week worthwhile. Also, I got a pedicure on, I think, Monday maybe with my best friend, and it felt super good. We got extra massage time. We didn't even talk. We sat in our chairs with our eyes closed. We barely talked, but we were in the same space, and it felt really good. So if you're not making time to do little things like that for yourself, you need to. Trader Joe's in Clifton around 1 o'clock on a random Wednesday, and a quick, cheap pedi at your favorite salon that's taking COVID precautions. All right, come on up to sit. Sit with your legs out in front of you, just like I am for a second. I think it's important when you're focusing on a class that's downward facing dog to do lots of back of the leg, back of the hip stretching before you go into your dog. And then we're going to do a little bit of stretching on our inner wrists as well, our inner forearms, because I know that for a lot of people, and I said this a few minutes ago, when they first start practicing and they first start doing downward facing dog, their wrists really hurt because you're at kind of a weird angle. And if you're not pulling up through your tailbone, bringing your shoulder blades together off your back, all your weight is going into your wrist, and that can be super, super, super uncomfortable. And no matter what you do, if you're new to yoga, it's still going to be a little bit uncomfortable, but it doesn't have to be awful. And for sure, this is one of those poses that you get more comfortable with as you practice and as you do it. So keep that in mind. Okay, so legs are out long in front of you. Hands are going to come to your thighs or your knees, whatever you prefer. And we're just going to rock a little bit, just that nice, soothing, easy rocking motion. This is being really good. I expected for it to be much, much more, of course. I don't want to jinx us, but good. If you need something on Netflix to watch, I've been binging, well, I don't know if it's binging. I watch like 2 episodes every night. I guess it's binging. It's called Queen of the South. One of my good friends recommended it to me. It's about the Mexican drug cartel. But it's got a different twist in that it's a female and 2 females that are in charge of the cartels, the drug trafficking groups of people. I don't know, but it's really good. So if you need something to watch, each episode is only like 40 minutes, which is perfect. And it's a little bit gory. There's definitely some gore, but it's been pretty good. And I'm pretty sad because I'm almost done with the 3rd season, and I don't know how many seasons there are. I didn't look. I think I'm heading towards the finish line. All right, come to the center. Flex your feet. Pull your toes back. Press out through your heels. Press the backs of your knees down into your mat. And if you do this enough, your heels will levitate up off the mat a little bit because you're almost hyperextending, but not quite. So let's release. Let's do that again. Pull back on the toes. Press out through the heels. This is the magic part. Press down through the backs of your knees and watch your heels levitate up a little. Hold that. It's a big action muscularly in the back of your legs, right? You could get tired from this pretty quickly and pretty easily. Hold it, hold it, hold it. Find your breath. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Alright, release your legs. Quick side body stretch. So we're going to bring our right forearm down to the ground. The left arm is going to come up and over. I considered putting on makeup for you guys today, and then I thought, don't be ridiculous, Stacy. It's still COVID. So I have gotten it down to not even my favorite color. My favorite lip balm is my favorite lip gloss called Peach Cobbler. It's by MAC, and I love it. And I realized a couple months ago that wearing it under a face mask was a total waste, not only because no one can see it, I can't see it, but it also is all sticking to the inside of my mask because it's kind of a sticky. It's called lip butter, and it's a little bit sticky. So I have resorted to 100% clear lip balm. I curl my eyelashes if I remember to, because that definitely makes me look more awake. And I'm slathering on mascara, moisturizer like nobody's business, and that is basically my beauty routine as of late. Alright, come on up. Hi. So now what we're going to do, flex our feet, but not so that we're levitating our heels. Arms up. Come on forward. Start to hinge at the hips. So when you do this, you're not curling your head down to meet your knees. You're hinging at the hips. You're almost putting a little arch in your low back, and you're bringing your chest towards your thighs. Suck it in, engage the core a little bit. Once you get to where you're comfortable, like for me, holding my feet is comfortable. For you, this might be comfortable, or this might be comfortable. You do whatever feels best for you. Once you get to that point of comfort, then you can start to release and drop your head and fold into the pose a little bit more. You want to feel this as a lengthening in your spine. So you want to feel like you're pulling yourself out of your low back, your tailbone area, and going right up through your shoulders into your arms. And then you're using whatever your hold is to pull you a little bit deeper into the pose. Back. Find your rocking again, right? That soothing rocking that's so simple, but just has a nice calming effect. It does on me at least, so I hope it does on you as well. Sit up straight and tall. Roll your head a little bit. We're going to do some neck rolls. So come to center. Your right ear is going to go to your left shoulder, right ear, right shoulder. Right hand is going to spread your fingers. Go right above your left ear. Don't pull, but just let the weight of your arm pull your head a little bit lower down so that you feel this is a stretching in the left side of your neck. Find your breath. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So left ear to left shoulder, left hand, spread the fingers. You want to cover lots of surface space. Bring the hand to the area right above the right ear. And again, you're not pulling or tugging, you're just letting the weightiness of the arm pull your head over. So you're feeling this all down the right side. Try to remember to keep your feet flat so that you're still lengthening the back of your legs without too much effort. And then come on up. So we're going to do some rolls. You're going to drop your chin to your chest. And then you're going to roll around to left ear, left shoulder. Go all the way back. Go slow. Try to do this very consciously so that when you hear something snap, crackle, pop, like Rice Krispies, or you feel something pull a little bit more than another area, you remember where that was, and you can go back to it and give it a little extra TLC. Right ear to right shoulder, and then we're going to just go back and forth. I can tell right where I'm going to pop every time. It's always the same. And those little bright, crispy popping noises that you hear, those are the air bubbles in the synovial fluid, which is what helps keep you lubricated, popping. And that's a good thing. The more you can pop them, the more lubrication you have running through your joints, and the better you will feel. Oh, here's my girl. Hi. Hi. Oh, I know, but you have to let mommy take yoga. I know. And then we're going to go out after. Okay? We'll go for a car ride? This is what I knew was going to happen. Very sweet, but still right away. So, a couple more. Oh my gosh. Oh! You can't do this. You're going to have to go back in your bed. Let's see Cam. Where's Cam? Go find Cammy. Alright, we're just going to ignore this and try to work through it. So, come on over onto hands and knees. We're going to stretch out our forearms, and we're going to go up into our dog in just a few minutes. Move your blanket, move your towel, whatever you are sitting on. Spread your fingers nice and wide. Oh, that's so good. Sometimes something so simple like just this. Oh, don't jump on me. She's got little sharp girl nails, and we take them and get them ground down at Particular Pets here in town, which is owned by Joanne, and she's super sweet. But Callie's a jumper. We say that she is, ooh, don't jump. We say that she is a little bit overzealous with her love and her affection, and it's a lot. And she's really tall, so when she jumps up, she actually pushes us back. But I think because of COVID, we haven't really had many people coming in and out of the house except for like 2 of Alex's friends on occasion. So she hasn't, and we've only had her since last December, so she hasn't really had the chance to be around a ton of people. Okay, let's go quickly. All right, so your fingers are spread wide, right? What I want you to do is turn your hands in, fingers in, and really ground down into the mat, and then start to lean your hips back, but don't let your palms lift up at all. You want to stretch out the lower portion of your arms. And you can control how deep or big of a stretch this is by how much you lean back. Alright, come on back to center. Flip them the other way. Now again, no jump. No jump. We can kiss. Okay. Yeah. I think she likes my lip balm because she's constantly kissing me and I'm the only one she kisses. Press down. Lean back. Don't lift the palms. You're going to feel this right here, and that's where you want to feel it. Anyone with a carpal tunnel or anything carpal tunnel-y like, this is good for that. Okay. So, downward facing dog. Let's do a little cat and cow first, and then we'll go up into our first dog, okay? Start to move on your breath, inhaling, dropping your head, pressing your spine up towards the ceiling, exhaling, arching your back, and looking up. This always feels good. See, hitting the mat. I've never taught with an assistant before today. When my boys were babies, they used to help, well, not help, that's stupid. They used to come to all my classes when I taught, and you know, depending on which one it was, they would either sit in a car seat, if they were like super new baby, or maybe sit on a blanket next to my mat and eat Cheerios when they couldn't really move around. But they were my yoga assistants when I was in a lot of studios when they were younger. Now they barely even talk about yoga with me. Okay, so spread your fingers wide. We're going to come up into dog. It's going to feel uncomfortable. It's our first one of the day. It might be your first one in 2 weeks. Either way, we're going to make it feel better, okay? So come on up into dog. Don't worry about doing any adjustments. Shake your hair out. Don't worry about doing any adjustments right now. Just find your breath. Move organically here. Just do whatever is going to feel good for you. And then we will move as a group. I like to check my stance. This is a good rule of thumb for everybody. You want your feet and your hands to be far enough apart that you're not crunched. And the way that you can check that is to just bring your shoulders forward, roll forward on the balls of your feet, come into a plank. If you don't have to move your hands or feet at all to find your plank, then your dog is in good shape. So let's do that again. Come forward with your shoulders, roll forward on the balls of your feet. Exhale back into your dog. And then let's come on down, hands and knees, and we're going to come into a wide knee child's pose, okay? So go wide with your knees, big toes touch, hips are going to press back behind you. Okay, come. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, I'm getting all these wet oh no, I'm getting all these wet doggy kisses as I'm trying to do child's pose. Hey, okay, I love you. Yes, I love you too. I love you too, but we'll play in a little bit. We'll go out, okay? Okay, Callie sit. So, let's lengthen out the back of our legs. Oh my gosh. Let's lengthen out the, come here, Cal, come over here. Oh look, your favorite toy. Your favorite toy. Let's, is it stuck? Here. Go get it. Go get it on the chair. Okay, let's lengthen out the backs of our legs. So you're in hands and knees. You're going to extend your right leg behind you. Toes are curled under. Keep your toes down on the mat. See my foot? Press out through the heel. And feel this in the back of the knee. This is one of those poses that's just always good. So simple, always good, right? Bring that knee in, same thing, other side. Always good. You don't even realize the back of your knee gets tight until you do this, and then you just think, oh my gosh, I totally needed that. Okay, so back to hands and knees. Let's talk about our dog for just a second. It's a triangle shape, right? You're kind of turning yourself into a pyramid. That's what I say to little kids when I'm teaching them dogs. You want to have a little bend in your knee. You want to have some lift in your heel, unless you are one of those freaks of nature who doesn't have hamstring tightness, in which case you can drop your heels to the mat. I am one of those freaks of nature. I can usually get my heels to the mat with no problem. If you're forcing them, you don't want to do that, but you also don't want to shy away from the discomfort of opening your hamstrings and not let your heels drop, because the goal is to open the hamstrings, right? So we're going to play with that a little bit and talk about it a little. You are going to try to keep a tiny bend in your elbows. She's going to go nuts because there's someone dropping off a package on the front porch. I have Amazon stuff coming at an alarming rate for Christmas right now. What else? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. What else? You're going to press your chest back towards your thighs. We'll talk our way through it, okay? So let's come on up into a dog. Ugh, shake out your hair. Okay, so together, let's come up high on our toes. And then we're going to bend our knees. Callie! Oh my gosh. Bend your knees. Lift your hips high. Now, let your heels drop. Heels are dropping to wherever they're comfortable. God bless the Amazon guy. Callie, you're going to go in your crate. Come on down on hands and knees and go into a cat and cow for a second. Maybe this was a bad idea. start to move your spine up and down, breathing as you move, ignoring the chaos that is in my living room right now. And coming to a neutral spine. So now what we're going to do is go from our dog into our cobra, and we're going to use it as a moving back bend. So you can take this, typically when I teach cobra, I teach high cobra. There's two versions of cobra. So there's baby cobra, which is down here. I don't like this one. And then there's high cobra, which is a more aggressive back bend. And this is the one I've always taught because this is the one I practice. So when you do dog into cobra and make it a moving pose, you end up in a high cobra just by the nature of where you're starting from. So if typically you don't do high cobra, then just be careful of your back. You know, be wary. Keep in mind that you maybe are doing something new. If you typically do high cobra, then it shouldn't be an issue or a problem. And we're just going to move back and forth in a flowy motion. If I'm doing it too quickly for you, which I hope I'm not, then just do your own pace, okay? So come on up into dog. You're going to inhale forward into a plank. Shoulders roll forward, balls of the feet roll forward, and all you're going to do is drop your hips. Unclench your butt, soften the shoulders, soften the elbows. And then we're going to go back up into our dog and find our breath. And then again, inhale forward into a plank. Exhale. Drop the hips, coming into a high cobra. Soften the elbows, soften the shoulders. Someone is biting my butt. Hi. Oh, I know. Okay, come on up onto hands and knees. Go into your wide knee child pose. Alright, so let's do 2 more of the moving cobras from dog. So dog moving into cobra, and then we are going to do our dog inchworms. Okay, so hands and knees, curl the feet under, stretch one leg out behind you, and lift up into your dog. So remember how simple dog to plank is. It's just a matter of rolling forward on the balls of your feet, moving the shoulders forward. Hips are coming down. You're unclenching, softening for a minute here, trying to lengthen out of the tailbone through the crown of the head. And then flipping the feet, coming up into dog again. Inhale forward into a plank. Hips down. When you do your hips down, your whole pelvic area is on the floor. There's no space. We're not doing an up dog, we're doing a cobra. Back into hands and knees. Let's just do a quick cat and cow. When you do a back bend, it's nice to do the opposite action. So when you do a cobra, going into a child's pose, or even just this, where you're doing the opposite of a back bend by pressing your spine up and rounding, feels really good. I like to teach opposite actions when I think of it. With back bends, I think it's really great. Oh my gosh, the plumber's been here for so many hours. It's going to cost $1 million. So now we're going to do dog to inchworm and then back out. So inchworm is when you come into a standing forward bend at the back end of your mat. And the reason you go to the back end of your mat is because you want to inchworm and walk your way back out into dog. So we're going to come up into dog. Now as you move your hands back here, you want to drop your heels. So as you shorten the space between your hands and your feet, your heels are going to drop. So even in dog, if your heels are not in the ground when you do this, they will be. Hang forward, cross at the elbows. Inhale up, flat back, hi girl. Exhale and fold. Inhale up, arch your back, flat back here. Exhale and fold. Hi, you look super long. Inhale up, flat back, arch and fold. Now we're going to come all the way up to stand, rolling up, one vertebrae at a time. Fix your pants as you go. Oh, that feels good. If you come up too fast, you're going to get a little head rush. So come up slowly, make it work for you. Check your feet. Now, typically, when you're standing in a mountain pose, you want your feet a little bit closer, like hip width. But because we're going back out into our dog, we want our feet dog width apart. Okay? So for me, that's almost as wide as my mat, just a couple inches on either side. So we're going to inhale our arms up. Exhale, start to hinge at the hips. Stick your tush out behind you. Forward bend, fingertips to the floor. Now from here, we're going to walk out into our dog. And remember, the way we check our dog is by coming into a plank. So engage your core, shoulders forward. Exhale back into your dog. Now we're going to do the same thing again. So we're going to walk back, inchworm our way back, standing forward bend at the back of the mat, cross at the elbows and hang. And then inhale up to a flat back. Exhale and fold. Inhale up, flat back. Exhale and fold. One more time. Inhale up. Exhale and release. Now we're going to roll all the way up, one vertebrae at a time. I washed my hair right before I started doing this with you. I didn't put any product in it, just coconut oil. So it's a little loofy, floppy, like fluffy, right? Like all over the place. Okay, take a minute, acclimate in case you have that little brain rush. Remember your feet are dog width apart, not hip width apart here. Roll the head of the arm bones back. Inhale them up. Exhale, forward bend. Stick your tush out behind you. Come all the way down. Inchworm your way back out into downward facing dog. And then really quickly, inhale into a plank. Check your stance. Make sure your space between your hands and your feet is long enough. Exhale back into dog. We're going to hold our dog for 5 breaths, okay? 5 inhales, 5 exhales. If that's too much, come down onto hands and knees at any time. Alright, everybody's going to inhale forward into a plank if you're still up, knees down, and then we're just going to come all the way down to lay on our stomachs. Okay. You can windshield wiper your legs, so just bend up at the knees and flop them. Feels good. Kind of an effortless, easy, feel good on your hips kind of movement. Here, what a great. So when I look at toys for her, I can never get the ones that say not good for aggressive chewers because she is an aggressive chewer. She's not very ladylike. She doesn't smell very ladylike right now. She smells like fake bacon treats and wet puppy. All right, bring your legs down. Bring your head down. Just take a second. Take a rest. Alright, from here, all you guys are going to do is flip over to lie on your back. You're not going to move your direction. You're not going to bring your head to the other end of your mat. You're just going to flip over to lay on your back. My hair is like, I feel like it's not good. Keep your eyes closed. Bring your arms out wide, palms up, let your feet open up towards the sides of the space you're in, and just find your breath. So hopefully we did enough to lengthen you and create some space where there wasn't space before, and you feel good about what you did. You know, going from dog into plank is a nice way to warm your back up or loosen your back up on a colder day as we move into colder weather. Inchworm is a super easy, super simple pose of just moving back and forth. You can do it as many times as you want and build a really quick inner heat, which is nice. But dog on its own, I think, really doesn't get the attention it deserves. You know, like I said, I don't know if you felt it. I hope you felt it. But it lengthens your spine. It lengthens everything from the back of your head down through your heel. It opens up your shoulders. It does so much for you. It lengthens your side bodies. So there's really not one part of your body that's not going to feel like it's got a little bit more room in it when you come up into a dog for a few seconds. And even just doing 5 breaths like we did is enough to loosen you up and just help you to feel better. So I don't know if we're done with dog. I'm going to play around with dog a little bit again next week because I like it and I like the benefits of it. And right now the weather's gorgeous, but it's going to get chilly, and I want you to have some things in your yoga arsenal that you can pull out on a really cold day to help you feel good. So keep on breathing. Let your mind wander for a minute. Try not to focus on any one thought for too long. Just let things come and go. I'm sitting like this because I'm trying to open my hip. I've had a lot of drama with running shoes over the last 2 weeks of purchasing, returning, purchasing, sending back, purchasing and keeping, and kind of liking but not sure I like them. Turns out I have 2 pairs right now. Turns out that my favorite of the 2 is a pair of boys Adidas, like young boys Adidas, that are the most cushy, soft-heeled running shoes I've ever had in my whole life, but they're really ugly. They're navy blue and the Adidas stripes are orange. I love orange, but I don't wear orange a lot, so incredibly comfortable shoes though, boys, old school Adidas. So I think that's why my hip is tight though, because I've been flopping back and forth between different running shoes for the last 2 weeks. Alright, start to move your fingers and your toes a little bit. Bring a little bit of awakening to your body. And when you're ready, push yourself up to a comfortable seated position. Hands, as always, to your heart in prayer. Backs of your thumbs compressed into this hard bony place, the top portion of your chest. And then you spread your fingers out nice and wide from that point of contact. We're going to close our eyes and take a deep breath in. Exhale the breath. Inhale. And exhale. Namaste. Thanks, guys. Thanks for meeting me in this place, not in this sacred place. Sometimes it's a little quieter and calmer than others. Today it was none of that. But I hope you still got some benefit from our time together. I hope it still felt good for you. And hopefully you, like I like to say, hopefully you created some space where there wasn't space before, and you feel better now than you did when we first started. So have a great week. Remember, if you pop into the library, to thank them for your virtual yoga, because they are the ones sponsoring these classes. I will see you again next weekend. Enjoy this amazing weather. Have a great day tomorrow in the sunshine. Get some vitamin D. Go to the beach. Go to the beach like us. I'll see you soon. Thank you so much, guys. Take care.